This is for the loved ones.
Round upon the mic, alongside Benjah.
This is for the loved ones.
Yeah, man. The roots youth. Esto es para mi familia. En mi corazón y en el mundo y en toda mi vida.
Hey you guys, so this is Stacie Ellis and I am here with another YouTube, and today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about marriage and how some people, their view is a little off in terms of marriage. Actually, there's a lot of people their view of marriage is off, which is part of the reason why we have so many people getting a divorce. But I just want to give you guys a little background. I have been married for 7 years, which I know is not a lot at all. I mean, there's people who've been married for 50 years. My parents been married for, I think, like 42 years or something like that. So I obviously do not think that I have it all together and that my marriage is the best marriage in the world. I have a lot to learn, but I have learned things through the years being married. I think that me and my husband's relationship is actually pretty good. I love my husband very much. We have, you know, our ups and downs just like any other marriage, but overall, I think we have a very good relationship. So I hope that I can help you guys in some form or fashion regarding marriage. So pretty much, I think one of the biggest problems with marriage is the perspective. When you go into marriage, if you go in with the thoughts that, okay, I'm expecting marriage to be this, and then you get married and you realize it's nothing like that, then you become unhappy, right? The truth is, marriage is nothing like what you think it will be. Every single person who gets married realizes it is nothing like what you think it will be. It is very hard, especially at first it's very hard. Because now when you make decisions and you do things, it's not just about you anymore. Now you gotta think about your spouse. And if you have children, you have to think about your children. So it's not like Disney Cinderella and Snow White and you live happily ever after and things are just easy and great, and let's be real, that's not what marriage is, okay? So if you are seeking marriage as a way to fill a void in you and to make you feel happy, you are going to be rudely awakened. Marriage is not designed to make you happy. I'll say it again. Marriage is not designed to make you happy. You choose whether or not you will be happy or not, whether you are married or not. It is not your spouse's responsibility to make you happy. If you're not happy, it is not your spouse's fault that you're not happy. Now, I know some people are like, wait a minute. You don't know what type of relationship I'm in. You don't know what he's done to me. You don't know this, that, and the other. Granted, I understand. Some people, they go through really hard times, and some things, you know, I don't even understand how people can make it through and have joy. But they choose to have joy in whatever situation that they're in, okay? And not that, you know, you can't go through times in your life where you're not happy. I think there are definitely times in your life where you should give in to your emotions. But ultimately, your spouse is not responsible for your happiness, okay? If you're not happy before you're married, you're not going to be happy while you're married. It's all about your perspective. You have to make that decision to be happy, okay? I highly recommend this book, Sacred Marriage, by Gary Thomas. This book, I tell you, out of all the books on marriage, this book, let me tell you, this book, you need to get it, you need to read it. If you're engaged or if you're married, you need to read this book. Okay? And this book is pretty much based off of this quote that says, what if God designed marriage to make us holy more than to make us happy? So if you think about that, make us more holy. Marriage is a tool to draw us closer to God and to improve our character, to improve us in our walk with Christ, so that way we can live a life that will glorify Him. That's what marriage is designed for. You go through so many tests and trials when you go through marriage that you will not go through if you never got married. So you learn through those tests and trials how to communicate, how to be gracious, how to be patient, how to be loving and kind, how to communicate effectively to your spouse, how to show love past certain characteristics, certain flaws, certain situations. That is what marriage is. You look at marriages that lasted the test of time. The reason why they lasted is because they looked at the end goal, and that the fact is, it's not about them anymore. It's about them. Okay, it's not about you as an individual when you're married. If you're selfish and you're thinking about yourself when you're married, oh, my husband doesn't do this for me. He never gives me flowers. We never go on dates. Oh, he always is doing this, that, and the other. You're not going to be happy because you're looking at yourself. You're like, woe is me, I have this horrible husband. That's your fault that you're thinking that way. Instead, when you're going through those tests and trials, you need to ask, what would Jesus do in this situation? I think sometimes when you're in a marriage, you think that the rules are different in a marriage in terms of how you should behave as a Christian. And there's people who, when they're married, they think, well, if my husband treats me this way, then I can talk to him any which way I want. Or if he does this, that means I could do this to him, or, whatever the case. And that's the wrong attitude to have. You need to treat your spouse just like you would treat anyone else that you would come across. And that's with love and compassion and grace and mercy. If you have a husband that comes home and let's say he's griping and complaining, he's mad because he's tired and now he has to wait for his dinner or whatever the case may be, don't talk to me like that. I'll get dinner done when I get it done. That's not right. I'm not saying that what he did was right, because it wasn't. We know that that wasn't right. But two wrongs don't make it right. Okay? What you should do instead is like, oh babe, I'm sorry dinner's not done. I'm sorry you had a bad day. And you give him a hug and a kiss and you're like, okay, it'll be done in a second. Like literally, can you think about how the reaction would be different in those situations? Like, it's not rocket science. Love. Love. Now, let me tell you, it is hard sometimes as a woman to do those acts. And you sometimes have to pretend. But it's better to pretend than to actually sin. Okay? Because eventually, you pretend long enough, it'll become a habit, and then you retrain your mind, and then you realize, okay, this is actually how you are supposed to react. I always tell people, fake it till you make it. Okay? Fake it till you make it. So as you continue to try to better yourself and do the right actions, God will make you more righteous, and He will allow you to grow in the fruits of His Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. and he will give you favor and blessings. That's a Christian walk, regardless of if you're married or not. When you're obedient and you try to do what you're supposed to do, he will reward you. Then you don't be obedient for the rewards. That's just a bonus. You're obedient because you love God and you want to glorify him. There's a difference. So this was just an intro video. I know that there's a lot of other issues in terms of marriage. I know that I barely scratched the surface, and I'm sure that there's people asking questions about, well, how should I treat my husband if he cheated on me, or if he's abusive, or he has some type of addiction that's pretty bad, or whatever the case may be. There's definitely a lot of sins, and some of them people they might feel that they need to get a divorce, or whatever the case may be. I'm not for divorce, and God's not for divorce. I'm not saying that divorce is not an option for some people, and that'll be another video at another time. But ultimately, your behavior makes a big impact on how your relationship can be. If you work on your behavior and you work on your walk with God, then the happiness in your marriage will come. Because you will find your joy in God, and then you'll find the blessings in your marriage, and you'll be like, you know what, I really love this man. And then the happiness will be there, and then you can have a happily ever after. But if it's very self-fulfilling, like, well, I want to be happy, I want him to do this, 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 and this, you're not going to be happy. But if you have the mindset of, okay, what can I do for him? What can I sacrifice for him? He had a bad day, okay, how can I help him? So, just reverse it. Instead of it be about you, be all about your other, your spouse. And eventually, that will help. And hopefully you both are believers, and so he should be doing the same to you. I know that's not always the case, but even if it's not the case, you still should do so. And you just pray for your spouse that he will become a believer. And if he is a believer and he's not being self-sacrificing towards you, you just pray to God about that. It might just be a certain area that he needs to work on, just like you have areas that you need to work on. That doesn't mean you need to get a divorce. It might just be a period of time of him having to learn it. And it's not your job to teach him that either, by the way. And we can have another video on that too. Well, anyways, you guys, it's getting dark, so I need to wrap it up. I hope that this was an encouragement. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, you can leave comments down below. If you have questions that are personal that you may not feel comfortable putting it in the comments down below, which I can totally get, you can send me an email, and if I feel like I can answer it, I will. If not, I will at least respond back and say, I can't help you with this. Or it might be in a YouTube video, and I will not necessarily disclose who the person is, unless you leave it in the comments, then I'll know that you don't care if I say your name, because you left it already for the whole world to see. If you liked this video and this video was an encouragement and it helped you at all in any way, give it a thumbs up. That way I know that the content that I'm bringing you guys is actually beneficial. And please subscribe below, and that way you'll be updated on any new videos that I post. I post every week. I love you guys, and I hope you have a great week. Be encouraged, and strive for the best in your life. Bye.
This is for the love.